Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Jay versus Horror. Just got back from a matinee screening of Scream 6. Um, I guess I would say this one is probably middle of the pack for me. It's not as bad as maybe Scream 3, but it's probably not as good as the first two. Um, so here we follow the sisters from the last movie as they now go back to New York and try to resume their lives and all that. And the killings, of course, start again because that's what happens in Scream movies. These killings follow you. And this one, man, I felt like they gave it up way too early. I mean, I figured this one out pretty quick. I'd say the first 20, 25 minutes, I knew who at least a couple, I don't want to give too much away, but I knew who the killers were, okay, within the first 20 minutes. I don't want to say how many killers there were, but yeah, within the first 20 minutes of the movie, there's just like, there's three very clear scenes where they give away who the killer is at the end of the movie. I thought anyway. And so yeah, I wasn't real impressed by that. And I also wasn't real impressed with the motive of these killers. It's very similar to another movie I recently saw on Peacock called Sick. It actually felt like it was ripped kind of like from that, as far as the plot line goes. But anyway, which is interesting because the movie Sick was written by the same guy who wrote the original Scream movie, Kevin Williamson. So anyway, but as we go on, one thing I've noticed is a lot of people who are reviewing this movie are saying it's more extreme, it's more violent, it's more gory than the other Scream movies. I would say yes, but you have to remember, folks, we're talking about theatrical gore here. This is not Terrifier gore or ATROZ or Serbian film type gore. This is what they're going to let them get away with an R rating on screen, okay? So there are a couple times when it almost felt like it was like, if you're going to go that far, I wish you could go a little bit further. There was a couple of scenes where I thought they could have even amped it up with just one more additional little quick cut scene of a gore scene and made it a little bit better. But that's just my opinion. Um, I saw some people complain about the shotgun scene that Ghostface doesn't use a shotgun. I think you have to see the movie and see how that scene is shot up to understand it. But yeah, so the kills are pretty decent in this. The storyline was a little weak, I thought. They gave the killers away too early. I mentioned that. I thought. Uh, I will say this. I thought it was pretty interesting. Like, we got Kirby back, and she's basically, her and Gil were our legacy characters this time. And I always wanted to see Kirby back. They really left us hanging at the end of Scream 4, whether she was alive or dead. And then, I definitely always, she was like one of my favorite people that got killed that I didn't want them to get killed. Benny's going crazy. I don't know why, but this is what he's doing. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to give the movie like 6.5 out of 10. I thought there's some interesting stuff in the movie. There's like this ongoing thing with Gil where they keep talking about how she's trying to stay relevant. But I think it's interesting how somebody like, Courtney Cox, who is richer than God, she's still making a killing, probably still makes 25-30 million dollars every year off just being in Scream or being in Friends from 25-30 years ago, plus whatever she makes, doing her act. She doesn't need the money. That's what I'm saying. She doesn't come back to do these movies because she needs the money. She comes back to do them because she wants to be in the Scream movies. And I think that's interesting because you look at the situation that they got with Neve Campbell, where she felt like she was being underpaid, and I can see both sides of that argument. I can see where they're saying, look, we're willing to pay you a large sum of money, and do you not want to do it for the fans? And then her say, well, I feel like I deserve more. But I don't think horror is the right place to go around telling people you deserve more because, I mean, they'll cut anybody out of a horror movie. They don't care who the person is. I mean, it took forever to get Aliens 2 made because they didn't want Sigourney Weaver or Ridley Scott back. They didn't want to pay either one of them. That's why it took forever to get Aliens 2 made. Or Aliens, I should say. But anyway, and look, like what they did to Gunnar Hansen. That guy, he just wanted he wanted scale actors paid plus 10%, and they cut him out of the second movie because of that. And so yeah, I don't think horror is the right place to be exclaiming that you're getting underpaid or you want more. You either do it because you love it or you move on to something else. And I don't really see that Neve ever really moved on to anything else, did she? I mean, what else has she done that's even been really notable since then? I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's done something. Maybe she's on TV or something, but I don't know. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Some of the way they play with the legacy characters is kind of interesting. I thought they did a couple things that put the movie off a little bit. there's a reference to Sydney in the movie, which I don't think is needed because we all know why Sydney's not there. We know that she's not coming back. So to kind of throw her name in is like adding her without adding her, and it seems cheap. And then they did this cameo thing with Billy, like they did in the last movie, where Billy Loomis is talking to his daughter, like in her mind. But this time they changed the actor. They didn't even bring Skeet back. And how much could it have cost them to get Skeet to do those two little shots in this movie? I mean, what, 50 grand, maybe? I mean, it's ridiculous. This is where they decided to cut corners. They spent a huge budget on filming, supposedly in New York City. Whether it's all filmed in New York City or not, I don't know. But, they use a lot of the budget to paint cars, NYPD, and to do all this stuff to make the setting. But they can't spend an extra 50 grand to bring Skeet Ulrich in, or they can't, come up with the money to get, what do you think Nev wanted? Like $1 million? You think she wanted $1 million to come back? Maybe 5 at the most. I mean, come on. Where they're gonna make $100 million off this thing. But anyway, that's all I got, guys. I'm gonna give it 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't the worst. It had a pretty good pace, I thought, and it's like I said, the kills were pretty good. And that's probably the best thing to say about this movie is that the kills were pretty good. And I did this whole video with my dog attacking me, so you guys can give me some extra credit for that, right? All right, yeah, I gave it 6.5 out of 10. It's definitely worth a watch. Not my favorite of the franchise, but not my least favorite, guys. And I'm sure there's going to be a Scream 7. I'm sure of it. I mean, at least there's going to be a trilogy to these two girls, and it's going to get tied up somehow, right? So I'm sure we'll see that probably within the next couple of years. And then maybe they'll move on from there. I don't know. Like, I don't have a problem with them keep going on with the Scream movies as long as they keep changing it up, keep making it more creative and intelligent, because the kills are always just basically the kills. I mean, they were upped a little bit here, but it's how much more gory are you going to get with a theatrical film? That's not really going to. And, the cat and mouse stuff is always going to be kind of the same. And really changing the setting was a good idea because that's one of the few things you really can change about a Scream movie. But yeah. All right, guys, that's all we got for this time. And we'll talk to you the next time we got something we're talking about. Bye.